down.
Everybody, I'm Matt Lachlan along with Keith Hernandez. This is one of 10 amazing games brought to you by Child Health Plus. Keith, you combine the traditional American game of baseball with the greatest American holiday, July 4th, and you get fireworks.
And Atlanta at 96 degrees in the middle of the summer, rain delays, pitchers hitting home runs. One of our starters had to come in to get a save because we were out of pitchers. Gary Carter caught the whole game.
It was a wild and wacky July 4th, 1985, as we take you to Fulton County Stadium.
In the bottom of the third, Roger McDowell has replaced Dwight Gooden with the game tied at 1. 1 out and 1 on with Tim McCarver and Ralph Kiner on the call.
Well, we have a threat of rain in the air, and of course, we're only in the third. The game couldn't be an official game unless you go to 4.5 or 5 innings, dependent upon which team is ahead at the time. If it's a home team, it's 4.5 innings. A visiting team, it has to go through 5.
Terry Harper, the batter, he struck out his first time up. Gooden had 3 strikeouts and 4 walks in 2 1/3 innings. Harper entered the game batting .244. He's got power, 7 home runs, 33 RBIs. Bob Horner at first and 1 out. It's a 1-1 game, and we're already in the 3rd inning.
5 minutes to 11 here in Atlanta.
After all this time, a pickoff attempt at first base.
Well, Horner's not going to be running, that's for sure.
No. Swing and a miss. 0-1 to Terry Harper. Backman cheating at second base. A little muddy around second. Probably the worst spot in the infield. Tapped in front of home, and it's foul. And Gary Carter is bending down. Looked like he had some mud flap in his face.
That's exactly what happened. That dirt that was spread out at home plate flew up from the force of the foul ball right into his eye.
And it's 0-2 to Terry Harper. Oh, close fastball, misses 1-2. McDowell's last appearance a couple of days ago against the Pirates. Pitched 1 inning and got the save. If you'll remember, he came in the 9th inning and got the save. That broke the Mets' 6-game losing streak as Harper stays alive. Where would the Mets be without Roger McDowell this year?
He has really picked up the bullpen with Jesse Roscoe having his problems.
A slider hit to center, and Dykstra coming hard. And there's just one thing about that. He was playing entirely too deep. You cannot allow a ball to drop with that much hang time, Ralph, and give a major league hitter a chance to capitalize on that. Base hit Harper.
Well, it's so impossible to play in the outfield. It is soaking wet, as you can see. No way to get any traction. And right here when that ball hits, it splashes up, and now look at that. Oh, that is tough.
These are not ideal playing conditions, and that's even more reason why you should be shallow. Dykstra entirely too deep right now. Oberkfell the batter. And a fastball, a strike. Still only 1 out. Oberkfell against Gooden walked in the 1st inning. to Kenny Oberkfell.
Oberkfell with 1 home run last year. For the Atlanta Braves, he is not a power hitter.
He's always been a good average hitter. Last year, the first year, he hit under 290. He's batting 280 this year. One of his knocks in St. Louis was that he didn't drive in enough runs. He's got a chance to do some damage here, though. Line drive, right center field. That's going to score probably 2. Horner scores. Harper's going to score. Braves lead it 3-1.
Oberkfell comes up with 2 big RBIs, his 16th and 17th of the year. As we look at it again, sinking fastball, he went down to get it. And with that outfield being so difficult to play out there, Strawberry cannot pick it up to get it back in. It's a wet ball, and one of those runs will be charged to Dwight Gooden, so he becomes the pitcher of record on the losing side of this ball game.
Rick Cerrone, the batter, takes a fastball strike. 0-1 to Cerrone. RBIs number 16 and 17 for Kenny Oberkfell, and he hit a nasty pitch. Cerrone grounded sharply to Hernandez with the bases loaded back in the first. Good slider, 0-2. Slider. So Cerrone's out of there. First strikeout for McDowell. And the batter's going to be Glenn Hubbard.
Book is closed on Dwight Gooden. Gets charged with 2 in the 3rd innings of work and 2 runs. Gave up only 2 hits, struck out 3 and walked 4.
Over to Keith Hernandez for the out, but the Braves unlock the deadlock. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors and 1 left, and after 3 complete, it's 3-1 Atlanta.
Moving to the top of the 4th, the Mets are threatening with runners on 1st and 2nd and 1 out. Jeff Dedman has replaced Rick Mailer, Steve Zabriskie, and Tim McCarver at the mic.
Well, Dedman appears to be ready. The Mets have runners at 1st and 2nd with 1 out here in the 4th inning as Atlanta leads at 3-1. And the batter will be Wally Backman, who is 1 for 2. Backman had an infield base hit in the 1st, grounded out to 2nd baseman Glenn Hubbard in the 3rd inning. And Wally has hit .319 over the last 17 games. Thought about bunting, but took high for ball 1. Wally now hitting .253. And tapped down the first baseline foul. So it's 1-1. Right back up the middle and a base hit to center field. Santana scores. Dykstra going to 3rd. The ball again dying in the outfield, and it's now 3-2 Atlanta. Backman picks up the RBI, his 8th of the year. And the Mets now with runners at 1st and 3rd and still only 1 out.
Good hitting by Wally Backman, his 2nd base hit of the night. A slider right back through the originator. Hubbard can't get it. And watch that ball die right in the puddle. Murphy alertly coming in to field it. Had he not done so, Dykstra may have come home. Or you can't take anything for granted out there tonight. The swamp.
That center field area is where they dump a lot of the water that comes out of the tarp when they take it off the field, and it's just gotten worse as the night has gone on. Keith Hernandez, the hitter, as Dedman throws to keep Backman close. Hernandez tonight with a double and a run scored in 2 trips. He was robbed of a base hit on an incorrect call on a ball judged to be caught by Murphy, a line drive to center field in the 3rd inning. That one's ripped to right. Claudel Washington over, and he falls in the water, and the ball goes all the way to the wall. Dykstra scores. The game is tied. Backman's rounding 3rd. He will score. Hernandez going to 3rd, and he'll make it without a throw. The Mets have taken the lead 4-3. And I would assume they'll have to score at a triple, as Claudel went over, and just as he was getting to the ball, slipped and fell.
Well, it is scored a triple, and Keith Hernandez will take it, but these are terrible conditions under which outfielders have to play. There you see Washington. Looked like he was trying to make that catch on the slide there, as opposed to falling down.
Swings it one down and in, and it's strike 2. Mailer now charged with a total of 3 runs, pitching 3 1/3 innings. The 4th run here charged to Jeff Dedman. Carter had a single to center to drive in the Mets' first run. It was his 35th RBI of the year in the 1st. He walked in the 3rd inning. Fastball right back up the middle, another base hit and another RBI as Hernandez scores, and it's 5-3 New York. Carter now the club leader with 36 RBIs on the year, his 2nd of the evening.
You remember Oberkfell's double in the last inning on an 0-2 pitch? That was one of those pitches you couldn't do anything about because it was a good pitch and it was low and away off the plate. The fastball there to Carter had the plate and was not a good pitch in the 0-2 count. If a guy reaches for it, then you give him credit. When a guy does not reach for it and still gets a hit on that 0-2 pitch, it's not a good pitch. And here it is. Too fat.
You saw Steve Shields beginning to warm up in the Atlanta bullpen, and Dedman's first pitch to Darrel Strawberry is a strike. Strawberry has singled to center and walked. One and one. Three straight base hits off Jeff Dedman, still only 1 out, with Carter at first base. And there's strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Cerrone blocks it. And that one obviously picked up a little mud. The Mets lead at 5-3, top of the 4th. At first with 1 out. Grounded. First baseman flipping to Dedman, who outruns Strawberry to the bag. Horner and Dedman combining to get the out as Carter moves to second.
Nice play by Bob Horner. As Ralph mentioned earlier, he has not committed an error this year as a first baseman. Gives Dedman a pretty good lead pass, a little shovel, just like Staubach used to do to Tony Dorsett.
The old shovel pass.
From the shotgun.
Yeah, that is an old single wing play, as a matter of fact. Here's George Foster, who has been a red-hot hitter and has walked his first 2 times up tonight. Foster has a 7-game hitting streak. And the breaking ball catches the corner, strike 1. George has hit .444 over his 7-game hitting streak and has driven in 11 runs in the last 11 games. A little bit low, 1-1. To right field. Claudel Washington in and over near the line. And the inning is over, but the Mets pick up 4 runs in the inning on 5 base hits. And they retake the lead. In the middle of the 4th, it's 5-3 New York.
Neither team has scored in their next at bat, so we rejoin the action in the bottom of the 5th.
Bottom of the 5th here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, a soggy Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, a 5-3 New York lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And coming back in to call it, here's Tim McCarver.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. The wet head is dead. Man, bottom of the 5th inning. This game scheduled to start some 4 hours ago. An hour-and-a-half rain delay to begin the game and about a 50-minute rain delay after the game got started. And those youngsters still up for the fireworks.
About half the crowd remaining, and if it were not fireworks night, I'll guarantee you there'd be far fewer people here.
Yes, sir.
Especially if they had to go to work tomorrow.
Bob Horner, the batter. He has singled, scored a run, and walked. Bob, 1 for 1, entered the game batting .257. Tap toward Knight, foul. The Mets need to win this game to keep pace with the Cardinals. The Cardinals won 3-2 against the Dodgers tonight. Joaquin Andujar with his 14th win.
And in the 10th inning, Montreal and Houston tied 3-3.
At the Dome, huh? Fastball on the inside corner, 0-2 to Bob Horner. Terry Leach, the 3rd pitcher of the game in his 2nd inning of work. With the fastball right on the corner. Some kind of piece of pitching by Terry Leach. 1 out. Well, Met fans, you can have it all with Michelob Light, super premium taste, and a less filling beer. And the batter, Terry Harper. Terry, 1 for 2. He struck out in the 1st and then looped a single to center as the first hitter off Roger McDowell in relief of Gooden. Fouls this one out of play, 0-1 to Terry Harper.
If the Mets can win this game, Timmy, they will move into 3rd place ahead of Chicago. The Cubs got beat by San Francisco today, 6-4. And with St. Louis victory, the Cubs are now 5 games out. So a victory by the Mets to keep them 4.5 behind Chicago will move them ahead of, or rather behind St. Louis, will move them ahead of Chicago into 3rd place.
And we'll keep an eye on that Montreal game for you, too. Good sinker there, 0-2 to Terry Harper. New York leads. Mets with 9 hits and the Braves with 5. Base hit left field. There's that 0-2 pitch again. Well, when you never think about it, all those situations come up. And I'll tell you, from a catcher's standpoint, those are the most irritating of things. You can't go out there every pitch, Steve, and say, all right, now it's 0-2. Let's make the guy reach to get a base hit. You just can't do that. Time will not allow.
But that's still the appropriate theory.
Yep. The guy reaches for it, hits it off the end of the bat, or you jam him. Nothing you can do about that. Oberkfell takes a strike, 0-1.
of times, too, pitchers are influenced by the previous batter. Leach got Horner out on a called third strike on a fastball.
Right on the corner on the inside, though. Fastball misses, 1-1. I think if a pitcher were to put himself in the shoes of a hitter and realize how defensive a hitter is in that situation, he would understand how a hitter feels, and it's not unlike the good pitchers to be good hitters because they know how hitters feel.
Yeah, they take some pretty defensive swings themselves when they're hitting with 2 strikes on them. You'd think they'd have some empathy in that regard.
I think the good ones do. Ground ball. Backman, nice play. Got him at first. What a play, Wally Backman. Harper on the play, moving to second, and there are 2 out. Oh, brother. Man.
This is an outstanding play in 2 departments. First of all, to even get the ball, which even if he hadn't made the play would have kept Harper from going to third base. Wally fully extended as far as he can go. Hernandez hustling back to the bag, and the throw in the dirt picked by Hernandez to just nip Oberkfell, who is not blessed with great speed. Wally really hung in there.
Yeah, it was such a good play also, Steve, that Hernandez took it for granted, I think, that the ball was going to get through there. You know, he was kind of late in covering.
He was. He had to hustle back. Unfortunately, he wasn't very far from the bag, or it might have posed a problem.
That's right. Well, a great play by Wally Backman. Had that ball gotten through, it would have been runners at the corners and only 1 out. As it stands, Harper's at second, and there are 2 out. Rick Cerrone takes a strike, 0-1. Steve Shields, the right-hander, up and throwing again for the Braves. Ground ball, base hit, right field. Harper will score. Strawberry picking up that wet ball and throws it into second. So a clutch base hit by Rick Cerrone makes the score 5-4.
Under dry conditions, we'd have had a play at the plate right there, because that ball would have gotten to Darrell Strawberry, and he would have been able to come up and throw. He still had an idea about throwing this ball until he grabbed it and found out how wet it was. The ball's pretty sharply hit, but when it gets out there, it just dies, as you see. And now when Darrell comes up with it, he thought about it and then thought better of it and wisely just threw the ball to second base.
So Cerrone is at first. Clint Hubbard, the batter, still 2 out. By the way, fans, harness racing from Roosevelt Raceway will be shown immediately following tonight's game. So don't look for John Biner's Bazaar tonight, but John will be on with Bazaar at 11 o'clock tomorrow evening. Roosevelt Raceway Racing this evening, and a fastball, a strike to Glenn Hubbard. Hubbard 0 for 2.
Terry Leach slipped on the mound when he delivered that pitch, and Carter went out to be sure that he was all right. Awful easy to turn an ankle. That mound has got a lot of clay in it, and when it gets wet, it gets very slippery.
Well, as you see, Terry Leach cleaning his spikes. That tongue depressor. Rick Cerrone at first base. 5-4 ball game. A slim 1-run lead for the Mets. Swing and a miss at a good slider. And it's 0-2 to Glenn Hubbard.
If this game goes much longer, the harness show will be preempted by the farm report.
And Glenn Hubbard strikes out. Second strikeout for Terry Leach. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 stranded for the Braves. And after 5, it's 5-4 New York.
Now go to the top of the 8th inning. The Mets leading the Braves 6-4.
We're going to the top of the 8th inning with Keith Hernandez to lead off. Keith has had some kind of a night. He has hit 4 solid line drives. In the first, a double to left center field. In the third, a double to center field. He was robbed of a base hit by the umpire's decision. The ball was not caught by Dale Murphy, but the umpire called it a fair catch. He then tripled the right field when Claudel Washington fell down on his line drive and then lined out the center in the 6th. And he takes high for ball 1.
Maybe it's indicative of the fact that Keith has broken out of that horrendous slump that he has been in. He's likened it to being in a deep, dark forest and not being able to see out.
And a foul ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, he has hit 4 balls right on the nose. Mets have had 6 runs on 13 hits. Atlanta 4 runs on 8. Shields with a high curveball and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Paid attendance here tonight, 44,947. They were expecting fireworks after the ball game, but a large majority of the crowd has gone home. And another drive by Hernandez. If it's fair, it's a home run, and it is long gone. Keith Hernandez with a home run, and that ball clotheslined out of here. Well, the forest has been cut down, Steve.
Yeah, those line drives have sliced those trees right into kindling tonight. Hernandez with his 5th home run of the year. The Mets are now up by 3, 7-4, and boy, put a stopwatch on this one. This ball is out of here in a hurry, and it never did get any more than about 50 feet off the ground. And it goes right over the right field fence on a line.
That gives the Mets a lead of 7-4 and brings up Gary Carter, who's 3 for 3 with a walk, and there's ball 1. Well, Keith certainly breaking loose here in tonight's ball game. He has hit 5 shots. 3 of them have been base hits, and there's a strike call to Carter. Carter has singled up the middle 3 times in this game. Also walked on 4 pitches. Now hitting .277. And this one chopped foul. Carter with his 3 for 3 has raised his batting average 11 points. Shields came into this game with a record of 1 win and 2 losses, an earned run average of 4.19. Basketball player.
Big enough to play anything.
Tries the breaking ball and the count 2-2. He was an All-America basketball player after going out for that sport. He went to, how about this for a name, Brad Hooks Bluff High School. And this ball lined, but it's foul. Shields never got to the Red Sox. He was in their organization for 7 years. And in 1984, he pitched at Richmond, where he was 9-4 with 4 saves. A liberated ball player with a new rule they have in the minor leagues. If you're on a team for 6 years, you then can become a free agent. And strike 3. Good curveball. So Shields picks up his first strikeout. And with 1 away, the batter will be Darrel Strawberry. Darrel is 2 for 3 in the ball game. Singled his last time up to score a run, driving in Wally Backman from third base. Darrel also singled to center field back in the first inning. 1 ball, no strikes. That's leading 7-4 as they bat here in the top of the 8th inning with 1 man out.
Also swinging the bat better tonight than he has since he's come back from that thumb injury.
And he fouls a fastball back. Mets have to win to stay even with St. Louis and Montreal. The Cubs lost, so they'll pick up a game on the Cubs and go into third place if they win this ball game tonight. Mets would remain 4.5 games back of the St. Louis Cardinals. 2 balls, 1 strike to count, and Shields back to Strawberry. That puts a count at 3-1.
Montreal beat Houston with 6 runs in the top of the 12th inning. The Expos keeping pace with St. Louis. The final was 9-3 Montreal over the Astros in Houston in 12. Houston's lost 7 in a row.
And a strike call, 3-2. Cardinals remain a game and a half up in Montreal. They'd be 4.5 up on the Mets and 5 up on the Cubs if the Mets win here tonight. And a drive to right field. Washington over to cut it off. Strawberry rounds at first base and holds there with his 3rd hit of the ball game. So the Mets continue to wrap that ball. Their 14th base hit.
Strawberry hit a rocket. Ball out there to Claudel in a hurry on 1 hop.
Shields now has given up 1 run on 4 hits since coming into the ball game on the Atlanta side, and the 6th with 1 out. George Foster, the batter, he's walked 3 times. He also has flied out, so his hitting streak is 7 games in jeopardy. And this one grounded to the shortstop. It's over to the second baseman on the first to double play. That's double play number 94 for the Atlanta Braves. They lead the National League. In the inning, 1 run on 2 hits, no one left on base. The score at the end of 7.5. It is the Mets 7 and the Braves 4.
The Mets have just made a pitching change in the bottom of the 8th. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. Doug Sisk will face Dale Murphy with the Mets leading 7-5.
Well, what has been a long evening looms even longer as, of course, we're only in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Ball game started 5 hours ago.
Almost exactly. Well, was scheduled to start. Dale Murphy receiving a semi-standing ovation as he comes to the plate with the bases loaded and 2 out. He is 0 for 3 plus a walk. And Murph, of course, leads the major leagues with 20 home runs this year. The Mets lead 7-5. Ball is high. It's not easy to be high to Murphy. He's 6'5".
Pitch was awfully close.
Well hit into the gap in left center field. It's in there and by Dykstra. The bases will be cleared and Atlanta takes the lead 8-7. With his 16th double of the year, now has 58 RBIs.
Well, here it is again. 2 men out, bases loaded, and 3-run score. That puts Atlanta up by a score of 8-7. Murphy now 2nd in the National League and runs batted in. From any angle, this ball well hit. Murphy getting his first hit of this ball game, and it is a big one.
Bob Horner, the batter, and Horner swings and fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. All 3 runs charged to Jesse Orozco, who is charged with a total of 4. all three of those who just scored were walked. 1-1 to Horner. Horner on the night is 1 for 3 plus a walk and a run scored. Two balls, one strike. Bruce Sutter is now up, as you see, in the Atlanta bullpen. And Bruce looks ready. A line drive caught by Backman, and the inning is over. So 2 balls smoked off Doug Sisk. And the 3-run double by Dale Murphy has given the Atlanta Braves an 8-7 lead as we go to the 9th inning.
And now back to 10 amazing games on MSG Network.
Well, if the Mets are going to come back here in the 9th inning, they're going to have to do it against one of the best. Bruce Sutter on to relieve in the 9th inning. 4th in the National League with 15 saves and a record of 4-3 on the year. Sutter will be facing Ray Knight, Rafael Santana, and Danny Heep here in the 9th, with Atlanta leading 8-7. Strike one.
Sutter has been scored upon only one time in his last 5 ball games. He's had 4 saves. Prior to that, he had been scored on in 6 straight appearances.
He is human. And that split-fingered pitch down too low, 1-1 to Ray Knight. Ray has had a tough night. He's been up with the bases loaded 3 out of 4 times. He struck out, lined out, reached on an error, and grounded into a double play. And he rips one foul outside the left field line for strike 2, 1-2. Scored 4 in the 4th to take the lead, and Atlanta scored 4 in the bottom of the 8th on only 2 base hits but 3 walks from Jesse Orozco to regain the lead. Sutter gets the first out in the 9th. Johnson is going to pinch hit for Rafael Santana. Hojo, the left-handed batter, hitting only 194 on the year. 2 home runs and 11 RBIs as Davy Johnson looks on, as does Eddie Haas.
Sutter with 275 saves in his major league career.
Strike one. One and one. Johnson against the Braves this year, 2 for 12. And he lines one to left for a base hit. So the Mets have the tying run aboard with 1 out here in the 9th inning as Johnson comes through with a pinch hit single.
That is the Mets' 16th base hit. Braves have had 10.
And New York will have another left-handed hitter up against Sutter in Danny Heap. Sutter wants a new baseball, or at least another one. Doesn't have to be new.
Going back to May 7th, Gary Carter hit a grand slam home run in the 8th inning of a Mets win off of Bruce Sutter. Only the 3rd grand slammer ever given up by Sutter. Lopes and Landreau getting the other 2.
Danny Heap hitting .259. No homer, or rather 5 homers and 25 RBIs. He looks at a ball. 1 out and the tying run on, and Howard Johnson at first. Ball 2. Sutter doesn't like that baseball either.
action in the bullpen now for Atlanta. Left-hander Terry Forster starting to throw.
And there's the big T. Two balls, the count to Heap. The split finger gets it done. It's 2-1. Danny checking with Terry Taylor to see if that would have been a strike had he not swung. Fouled away out of play. 2-2. Top of the ninth inning here in Atlanta, and an 8-7 Atlanta Braves lead as they scored 4 in the bottom of the 8th. The big blow, a bases loaded 2-out double by Dale Murphy to give them a 1-run advantage. Danny Heap lines one into left center for a base hit. Johnson will go to third. Harper up with the ball to second base, and the Mets have runners at first and third with 1 out. A 2-2 pitch lined for a base hit by Heap.
Big play in left field by Terry Harper to keep Heap from going on down to second. That keeps the double play in order for Atlanta and keeps the go-ahead run off of second base. And that ball was hit into the gap in left center. Let's look at it again. Heap is not fast, so he could not make that second base move.
And Len Dykstra grounds one. Horner going to Suter. They don't get him at first base. A run scores, and the game is tied. Dykstra with an infield base hit for the RBI as Johnson scores from third, and it's 8-8 here in the top of the ninth inning. Third consecutive hit off Suter, and the Mets still with runners at first and second, and still only 1 out. Dykstra's third hit of the night and his 5th RBI of the year. Now the batter will be Wally Backman. And he takes strike 1. Backman tonight 3 for 5. He's had an RBI, scored 2 runs, and stole a base. 1-1. 28 hits and 16 runs total in the ball game so far tonight, and we are not through yet, even though we are approaching 1 a.m. Eastern time. A split finger and a beauty that drops like a rock, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball. Zuvella at second, goes to second and gets Dykstra as Ramirez covers. Heap advances to third base. Backman safe at first on the fielder's choice. 2 out. And runners at first and third for New York. And the batter will be the red-hot Keith Hernandez as Gary Carter prepares on deck.
And when Keith gets into the batter's box, look where he is going to stand. He will be up in the box. He has moved up toward the pitcher to try and take away that down action of the split finger fastball.
Keith doesn't miss very much when it comes to combating good pitching. That's why he has been so successful so consistently throughout his major league career. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. He does not like the call and lets Terry Taylor know it.
Taylor's saying, get back in the batter's box. Don't get kicked out of here, Keith.
Hernandez going to take a minute now, and Suter was off the mound. Cerrone's going to go out to talk to him, and now he wants the infield to come in, or at least Ramirez, as they're going to have a little conference. So Hernandez will have a moment to regain his concentration. Keith tonight has doubled, tripled, and hit a home run. He has scored 3 runs, driven in 3 runs. While going 3 for 5, he was robbed of a double on an umpire's call in the 3rd. Foul back, and Hernandez in the hole 0-2.
That was a fastball right there, not the split finger forkball.
Keith had a big rip, but just missed it.
He has the easiest of the base hits to hit for the cycle, the single.
Fouled away again.
And again, Suter going to the fastball. So by moving up in that box, it has changed the way Suter has worked to him.
Interesting game, isn't it? Just like a chess match going on. Move and counter move. Two strikes, 2 out and 2 on. Ball 1.
And again a fastball.
One and 2. Another one high. 2 and 2.
He has thrown him all fastballs. Well, if that takes away a split finger forkball, everybody ought to be hitting in the front of the batter's box.
We'll see guys up there from now on if it works. Hernandez skies one into left center field. Harper and Murphy coming in, and Harper makes the catch. But the Mets tie the ball game with a run on 3 hits here in the 9th inning off Bruce Suter, and Atlanta takes it into the bottom of the 9th, tied 8-8. Johnson, who pinch hit for Rafael Santana, stays in the game to play shortstop as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And here is the play on which the game was tied.
Right here, Dykstra tops the ball out to the first base side. Suter a little late getting off the mound. Great diving stop by Horner. He throws over to Suter, but no chance for Suter to beat Dykstra, who makes the dive by the bag. That play, the time run scored, and now we're in the bottom of the 9th.
And with live action, it's 1 strike to Terry Harper as Doug Sisk gets him to jam one to Keith Hernandez, and there's 1 out. Dougie, working in relief, gave up the 3-run double in the 8th inning to Dale Murphy, on which the Braves took the lead 8-7. It's the first out here in the 9th. And here's Ken Oberkfell, who is 2 for 3 plus a walk, 2 RBIs on the night, and he was robbed of another base hit by Backman. He looks at 1 low for ball 1.
And it's starting to sprinkle again here.
Just a little bit high, I guess. Ball 2.
One thing about Terry Tete, he certainly isn't an umpire for high pitches. He really calls it down.
There's a strike, 2 and 1. Well, that might have had an effect on Dwight Gooden's walking 4 in pitching only 2 1/3 tonight. Seems like yesterday. It was so long ago.
And it was.
It was yesterday. We've been here 5.5 hours. On the corner, and it's 2 and 2. Oberkfell coming in and playing third base with Horner moving over to first. Since that time, these two have really been hot. This one ground a fair ball to Hernandez, who will take it himself, and there are 2 away. And here's Rick Cerrone. Cerrone on the night, 1 for 3 with an RBI single. He walked and scored in the 8th inning. 2 out and nobody on, bottom of the 9th inning, and an 8-8 tie. Good pitch from Doug there, and it's strike 1. Cerrone hitting .242 with 2 homers and 12 RBIs. Just missed 1 and 1.
That was an unusual slider thrown by Sisk there.
That caught the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. remains 1-2.
If Cerrone can get on, Chris Chambliss will be the batter. He's in the on-deck circle.
Here's a 1-2.
Fouled away again. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dougie trying to battle back to his excellent form of previous years. Pitching well here in the 9th. And another never, and this one rolling just foul outside the first base line, which is a break for Cerrone, because had the ball stayed fair, Hernandez had an easy play. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 out and nobody on. Right back up the middle. Howard Johnson in a bad hop goes up his arm and into center field. Johnson was there, but the ball crawled right up his arm and over his arm into center.
There it is again. He had a play, but this ball taking that up hop at the last minute. There you see it, right over the glove. 2 bad hops, as a matter of fact, right in front of Howard Johnson, who is at shortstop.
Well, they have yet to score it. Cerrone is going to be pinch run for. And Albert Hall is loosening in the dugout, now just coming out. So the speedy Albert Hall, representing the winning run with 2 out here in the 9th inning, will be the pinch runner for Cerrone. And as you mentioned, Ralph, Chris Chambliss will be the hitter. Now they have scored it, and they have given Howard Johnson an error. Okay. I don't think he touched that ball either, but we're not scoring the game. Chambliss takes strike 1, hitting .202, no home runs and 9 RBIs. With Horner playing first, Chambliss has been relegated to that pinch hitting role.
He's 4 for 22 as a pinch hitter with 3 runs batted in.
1-1. Chambliss batting for Suter, so if the game remains tied and we go to the 10th, Suter will now no longer be available. And a ground ball to second. Backman over to first, and we will go to extra innings, as if we haven't been here long enough already. So stay with us if you can. It's 1:06 a.m. Eastern time, but we will be back to Atlanta in this 8-8 ball game.
Man, you talk about crazy, wild doings in Atlanta. What are you guys thinking in the dugout?
Well, we just want to get in the clubhouse. You know, it's 4th of July. It's steaming hot in Atlanta, and hot Atlanta, and we thought we had the game won, and little did we know we had a long way to go.
Well, who knows how it will end, how long it will take, so let's go back to July 4th, 1985, and Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. It's the top of the 13th. Terry Forster pitching for the Braves. The game is still tied.
Here we go again. Top of the 13th inning. Darrell Strawberry leading it off. And a ball to Darrell. Darrell on the night, 3 hits and 4 times up plus 2 walks, and it's 1-1. Terry Forster working his 3rd inning of relief. Make that his 4th inning of relief, as he came in the 10th. And a strike called, and it's 1-2. That bounces away. 2-2. Darrell singled to center in the 1st, walked in the 3rd, had an RBI single to right in the 6th, stole a base, and then singled to right again in the 8th inning. He also walked in the 10th and was stranded. So Darrell looks like he's swinging a good bat. getting back in the groove after that long layoff. But he's called out here on strike 3 from a tough left-handed pitcher. Second strikeout, third strikeout for Terry Forster. Forster's only given up a walk and a base hit in 3 1/3 innings of work so far. Now here's Kelvin Chapman to pinch hit for Doug Sisk. Chapman on the year hitting only 185, but he's doing better than that as a pinch hitter. As a pinch hitter this year, Chappie is 5 for 17 with 2 pinch hit RBIs. So Doug Sisk works 3 1/3 innings, 4 1/3 innings. I'm going to get caught up here. No runs on 3 hits. Did not strike out anybody and walked only 1. And that was an intentional pass to Ken Oberkfell. So a good outing for Doug. Strike call to Chapman. The only blemish on Doug's record, the double he gave up to Dale Murphy that allowed the runners that Jesse Orozco had walked to score. That just missed. 1-1. And the big T is working up a sweat. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This may be the longest that Forster's gone.
Very well could be.
Popped up down the left field line. Ramirez. And they're 2 away. Two out with nobody on, and the batter will be Ray Knight. Knight has had one tough night at the plate. He is 0 for 6. He has struck out twice, grounded into a double play. He has been up 3 times with the bases loaded. Once with 2 out and once with 1 out, and failed to plate a run. But he gets a base hit here. So a 2-out single to left by Knight. And the Mets have the go-ahead runner aboard. Only the second hit off Terry Forster.
You see that defiant look on Ray Knight's face. Sometimes you get so darn mad, Steve, that you could bite the head off a rattlesnake, and I'm sure that's the way Ray feels.
Played great in the field tonight, but really struggled at the bat.
Yep.
Howard Johnson, up for the 3rd time, is 1 for 2. He had a pinch hit single to left and scored in the 9th inning. The tying run for the Mets that sent us to extra innings. And he takes a ball up and away. And we're spending a week here tonight.
I have done that in other towns less pleasurably than I have tonight.
Yes. Mainly because now you're at the ballpark and then you weren't.
Correct.
Foul back. And the count now 1-1. Johnson batting right-handed for the 2nd time. His base hit came left-handed back in the 9th inning.
Tell you one thing, this long game will make those grits taste better after the game, right?
Boy, show me where we can get some.
Man.
Missed the high, hard one. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Since the hotel has all-night room service, I might go by and get a little country ham, red-eye gravy, grits, couple of eggs, toast, coffee. Perfect.
When we got here last night, Rusty Staub ordered grits, and they told him they didn't have them until 3:30. That'll work out perfectly because we probably won't be back to the hotel till 3:30.
Right. Perfect.
Foul back again, still 1-2.
If we get back there before then, I'll wait until 3:30.
That's right.
Man.
And you may have to wait that long for room service the way the hotel's been with all the conventioneers.
Well, the one good thing about this game, we'll miss that steel band in the lobby.
Don't bet on it. 2-2 2-2.
They have a huge Shriners convention. And with my luck, I'll probably find one of them in my room on a motorcycle or something, blowing a horn.
I tell you, I've seen enough of those hats to last me a lifetime.
Oh, man.
Everywhere you turn. Foul back again, and it's still 2-2 to Howard Johnson. 2 out. Ray Knight at first base with a 2-out single to left. It's an 8-8 ball game. Top of the 13th inning. And if you tuned in looking for Sermonette, you'll just have to wait.
We've got the right guy in the booth to give it. The good Father Murphy, the traveling chaplain of the Mets, is here.
Father Daniel Murphy from Brooklyn, USA.
Yes, sir.
Hanging in there with the rest of us. Father Murphy takes his vacations and follows the ball club. Well hit to left field. It's back a ton. Out of here. Home run. Howard Johnson and the Mets take a 10-8 lead in the top of the 13th inning.
You talk about out of the depths of despair. Howard Johnson, his second hit in 3 at-bats. 2 happy guys right there. Man, Ray Knight has stranded 10 runners tonight. Howard Johnson has not had a home run from the right side this year. And this is why that dugout is so jubilant. Johnson with 12 home runs last year, only 2 from the right side, and he really gets into this one. And a jumping Terry Harper can't come up with it. 10-8 New York.
Danny Heap, the hitter. Look at that dugout. Hojo is a very popular player on this ball club, and they are all happy for him. His 3rd home run of the year, and he now has 13 RBIs. But none have been any bigger previously this year than these 2 right here.
And the 1-1.
Down low to Heap, and the count 2 balls, no strikes. Danny batting for the 3rd time is 1 for 2. He had a single back in the 9th inning. Grounded to first base. Gerald Perry picks it, and the inning is over. But a 2-run home run with 2 out, following a 2-out base hit by Ray Knight here in the 13th, has given the Mets a 10-8 lead as we go to the bottom of the 13th inning.
Hi.
So we'll go to the bottom of the 13th, nearing 2 a.m. Eastern time, with a 10-8 New York lead. Tom Gorman is in to pitch for the Mets.
And Tom Gorman is really the last available pitcher for the New York Mets. If you remember, he won an 18-inning game this year where he worked 7 innings against the Pirates. And that was back on April 28th. That was the 18th. Boy, the Mets played some weird ball games. The 18-inning game, this one tonight, starting at 7:35. Technically 6 hours and 21 minutes old now. Tom 3-3 on the year, his 18th ball game. He started a couple. That 4.70 ERA is very deceptive. 30 2/3 innings of work. And the moon is a balloon, as David Niven would say.
Well, he'll have to face some tough hitters here in the 13th. Rafael Ramirez to lead it off against Gorman, with Dale Murphy and Gerald Perry to follow, and it's ball 1 to Ramirez. Ramirez tonight 1 for 5, plus a walk, a run scored, and 2 RBIs. Strike 1, 1-1. Raffy hitting .265, 3 homers and 31 RBIs. Drill deep down the left field line, but it's hooking foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Steve, I don't want to confuse praise with mushy flattery, but you know, all during the time that Howard Johnson has been going through that miserable slump in which he has been mired since the beginning of the season, not one complaint, not one excuse in the paper, nothing about changing leagues, nothing about the pitching in the National League.
There's a base hit into left center. So the Braves come right back, down by 2 in the bottom of the 13th with a leadoff single from Ramirez. I know what you're saying. He's really handled it like a pro.
Yeah, he has. And, you know, he's hitting a $190 or so. May have lifted it to 200 tonight. He's really had his problems, but to his everlasting credit and impressionable feelings that he's left on his players and the traveling group, he has handled everything very, very well, as best as he possibly could. No helmet throwing, no ripping the umpires, no nothing. He's handled it like a man who is 4 times 7.
Which makes it even more joyous in that dugout when it's Hojo who gets the big 2-run homer. But here's a guy that can hit him as well. Dale Murphy is 1 for 5 with a 3-run double in the 8th that brought Atlanta from a deficit to a 1-run lead at the time. Fouled off. 1-1. Sisk pitched 4 1/3 innings, gave up no runs, 3 hits, did not strike out a batter, and walked only 1. And Doug right now stands to be the winning pitcher.
And Ray Knight on the line at third base. I tell you, if he hits one into the position and you're there, you have a double play that ends a ball game, or that puts it 2 out, nobody on.
Swing and a miss. 1-2.
And Murph's not a pull hitter. I mean, and Gorman's not going to give him anything to pull.
That's a good point.
Murph is a guy who sprays the ball around. He has great power the other way, a straightaway hitter.
He's a left center to right center hitter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even against left-handers and even against the guy with the fork ball.
Struck him out of there. 1 out in the bottom of the 13th. The batter will be Gerald Perry. The Mets have 10 runs on 21 hits, 1 error. Atlanta 8 runs on 13 hits and 1 error.
Same true really for Keith Hernandez right now with the 2-run lead, 1 out in the bottom of the 13th. Really play behind him. Give him the base. Give him second base. They're not going to steal anyway.
Perry's 0 for 1. He taps back to the pitcher his first time up. Knight still guarding the line at third as well. Strike 1, or strike 2, I should say. 0-2. Hernandez is semi-holding the runner, Ramirez, and coming off the bag, but it's not the same as playing the position.
Yeah, you just play right back into position. If he wants to take a chance and steal second base, let him go ahead and do it. That's not the run that is going to beat you. That's going to pull you 1 run closer, and you only got 2 outs to get 3. Now he's behind him.
The count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 called. Gorman, after giving up a leadoff base hit to Ramirez, has struck out Murphy and Gerald Perry. Tom looking to pick up his first save of the year.
Now Keith asking the dugout where he wants him to play, and Davy Johnson says close in behind him. But really, this is a position where you just play right back in your position just like nobody's on. You want an out. You don't care about this man right here.
And the out is a tough one. Gerald Perry is 3 for 6 with 2 runs scored, 2 singles and a double. Strike 1. Perry hitting .251, 7 homers, 33 RBIs. Strike 2. Gorman with that fork ball. And he's 1 strike away from closing the door. Foul back. 2 out, 2 strikes on Perry. Or Harper, I should say, who just hit it down the line. Fair ball. Home run. The game is tied again. Terry Harper with his 8th home run of the year with 2 out in the bottom of the 13th inning.
That shot left me spellbound. Dazed and dizzy. There's one end of it, and the other end's across the field, just like the Braves were in the top of the 13th. A fork ball down and in. Will it be fair? It hits the screen in left field.
Oberkfell takes ball 1 and rips one foul. It's 1-1. What a turnaround in both the top and bottom halves of this 13th inning.
Both with home runs, both coming with 2 outs.
Popped up. Carter could have a play. As he comes back, he does. And the inning is over. However, a 2-run, 2-out home run by Terry Harper answers Howard Johnson's 2-out, 2-run home run. And we are still tied at 2:04 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll go to the 14th, 10-10.
Top of the 17th inning, game tied at 10. Rick Camp is now pitching for the Braves, the 7th Atlanta pitcher used so far.
And the Braves are bringing in Rick Camp, their final available pitcher, as we start the 17th inning. Also, Runge stays in the game and plays third base, giving Ken Oberkfell an opportunity to sit down for a minute anyway.
And making it possible for Camp to work at least 3 innings before they have to worry about a pinch hitter.
Right.
Camp has it.
Let's hope not.
If you want to look at the pessimistic side. Camp 2 and 3 on the year with no saves. 7th pitcher used by the Atlanta manager. Camp with a 3.09 ERA. And this is his 28th appearance. And his first batter, Gary Carter, and the first pitch, strike 1. And now for the play-by-play, Steve Zabriskie.
Who doesn't need an introduction to the 17th inning. Carter pops it into foul territory. It's heading for the picnic area and just out of play.
What do you mean you don't need an introduction? We got a whole new audience coming in.
All those early risers. Those early risers, too. So the count, 2 strikes on Carter. Gary with 3 hits tonight. In 7 official at-bats. He also walked yesterday in the 3rd inning. And Carter wants home plate umpire Terry Tata to check out the ball. Tata leaves it in play. Carter leading off the 17th, the 10-10 tie. Strawberry and Gorman are scheduled to follow.
And here's an 0-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Oh, we just got a message that the 2 Cavs we told to wait to be here in the 9th inning are still here, and the bill has now gone up to $890.
Carter with a base hit to center field. It's a good thing I got my American Express card with me. We're not getting to the hotel. The rally hats as Ron Reynolds goes to the Clint and John Kristensen and Howard Johnson all got their hats inside out. It's rally hat time, and number 13, the leader of that pack right there. Bill Webb says on those cabs, be sure to get receipts. Strawberry takes the ball outside. The Mets with a go-ahead run on here in the the 17th, nobody out. Darrell's had 3 hits tonight, an RBI and a stolen base. 2 balls, no strikes. Strawberry 3 for 6, plus a couple of walks.
2 balls, no strikes.
Out of play, and it's 2-1.
One of the strange parts of this ball game, when Strawberry was up on the 14th in the tie game, they pitched to him with the pitcher, Tom Gorman, due up next.
And a base open.
And no chance to take the pitcher out of the ball game. And Strawberry struck out to oblige Ed Haas, the manager of the Atlanta Braves.
And Darrel swings at one up and away, and it's 2-2. It was the wrong move, but it turned out right. Darrel now hitting .222. He has 6 home runs and now 14 RBIs. Too low, and it's 3-2. Carter has led off the 17th with a single. There is nobody out. Oh, Strawberry can't believe it, and neither can I. Darrell's 6'6", and his knees are a long way off the ground. Tata doesn't like him arguing, and he's out of the game.
How about Tata? He just follows Strawberry. You talk about baiting a ball player. He walked right with him. Strawberry was going back to the bench.
And I'm sure that's part of what Davey's complaining about, and he's out of the game too. And he's really going to get his 2 cents in now. I hate to see that when an umpire follows a ball player. We'll take a look at the pitch again. I thought this was low and away. Ball 4.
Oh, here it is on the replay. Certainly ball 4, no doubt about it. Tata punches him out. Strawberry has something to say about it. And then as he was walking away, Tata followed him right with him to argue with him.
Davey's really letting him have it now. 1 out. Carter still at first base. And now Terry Tata waiting for Davey to leave, as he has been ejected from the game, but he's not leaving without a few parting shots. And Tom Gorman is the hitter. Gorman flied to short left field his first time up. In a bunting situation, he takes for ball 1. Tom has no batting average yet this year. Missed that one, and it's 1-1. So Strawberry is out of the ball game. So is manager Davey Johnson. Fouled off. Caught a piece of Bruce Benedict on the way by, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Mets have had a problem getting their pitchers to get the bunt down and get the runner over.
1-2.
And he fouls the 3rd strike, and he's out of there. So Camp with 2 strikeouts here in the inning. Carter still at first base now with 2 out. And the batter Ray Knight. Ray has had 2 singles his last 2 times up. Prior to that, he was 0 for 6, so he's 2 for 8. We're in the top of the 17th, tied at 10. Foul back. Well, I can hardly wait for those fireworks, huh? 3 a.m. Eastern Time. You lucky folks on the West Coast, it's only midnight.
Ray Knight's the batter. He has pitched safely his last 2 times.
Off speed is high. 1-1 to Ray Knight.
Runner at first and 2 down.
Sharply hit into the hole. Ramirez picks it, goes to second and gets the out there. So the force play ends the inning. A hit and 1 left here in the 17th for the Mets. We'll go to the bottom of the 17th, tied 10-10.
The Braves failed to score in the bottom of the 17th, so we go to the top of the 18th, still tied at 10.
Johnson, the leadoff for the Mets here in the 18th inning. Johnson's home run in the 13th with a man on put the Mets up 10-8, but then Atlanta came back in the bottom of the 13th on a 2-run home run by Terry Harper to tie it up at 10. Johnson came in the game in the 9th inning as a pinch hitter and single. There's a single into center field, and the Mets have a runner on one, no one out here in the 18th. Johnson now, since he came in the ball game, with 3 hits and 5 times up. That'll bring up Danny Heap. Danny, a pinch hitter in the 9th inning, singled. Mets got the game tied up in the 9th inning after they were trailing 8-7. A single by Johnson, a single by Heap, and a single by Dykstra. That sent it into extra innings. And Heap in a bunting situation bunts it too hard. Camp goes into second, throws it away. Johnson on his way to third, and the Mets have runners at first and third on the throwing error by Rick Camp, and things are looking better for the Mets.
Boy, Howard Johnson just does a great job not only of hustling down to second and sliding in hard, but of popping back up. He would have been out had Camp made a good throw, because the ball was bunted too hard by Heap, but it short hops Ramirez, and look at Hojo just pop right back up and get to third in a hurry.
So an error charged on the play. And the batter for the Mets will be Len Dykstra, whose single, an infield single, tied up the game in the 9th inning. Infield is in, and the first pitch, ball 1. Dykstra in this ball game has had 3 hits. Batting for the 9th time officially. 1-0 pitch, and the runner going with the pitch, but the ball hit foul. So Heap will have to go back to first base, and the count will be 1 ball and 1 strike on Len Dykstra.
40 hits, 3 errors.
Atlanta has no, excuse me, Ralph.
I was going to say, this is Dykstra's 10th time to the plate.
That's almost as many at-bats as he had in his first trip with the big club after the first call-up from Tidewater. Atlanta having no choice but to play the infield in all the way around, and boy, does that help the hitter.
Runner goes again, and this one hit out to deep enough center field to score a run. Murphy back, but he'll have no play at the plate. Johnson tags up and scores, and the Mets lead by a score of 11-10 here in the top of the 18th inning. Run batted in for Dykstra on the sacrifice fly. His second in the ball game, and now with a runner at first and 1 out, the batter will be Wally Backman. Raleigh with 3 hits in the game. Rusty Staub looking on. He's a senior member of this ball club. And that ball gets away from Benedict, but the runner holds it first.
In the bottom of the 17th, the Braves will have Gerald Murray. 18, excuse me. Gerald Murray.
1 strike to count to Wally Backman, and now the fastball outside. Camp came in this game in the 17th inning, gave up a base hit, but here in the 18th he has given up a run set up by his throwing error, throwing the ball away at second base. Heap the runner at first. And it's bounced back to the pitcher. They'll try for two. There's one. They get it, but they don't get the runner at first base. So Backman with his speed stays out of the double play, and that'll bring up Keith Hernandez.
Well, Jay Horwitz informs me now that this game is now the longest game in time this year in the National League. The Mets had the previous longest game at 5 hours 21 minutes back on April 28th, an 18-inning game at home against the Pirates. And right now we're about 5.5 hours old since the official starting time.
And Hernandez pops up the first pitch. Fly ball to shallow right center field. Claudel, Washington, and Murphy are there. Murphy makes a call and catch, and that ends the inning. But the Mets score one run on one hit. There was one big error and one man left on base. And the score at the end of 17.5 innings, the Mets 11 and Atlanta 10.
And now back to 10 amazing games on MSG Network.
Bottom of the 18th inning, the Atlanta Braves coming up. The Mets leading by a score of 11-10, and for Atlanta, it will be Gerald, Perry, Terry Harper, and Ken Oberkfell. Mets were within one strike of winning the ball game in the 13th, but then Harper had a two-run home run to tie it.
Incidentally, Ralph, that single by Howard Johnson in the 18th inning that eventually led to that go-ahead run was the 24th hit for the Mets, and that is a new team high all-time record.
Parole record of 23 was set in 1964. The Mets against the Cubs when the Mets won the ball game 19-1, and Jack Fisher was the winning pitcher. You looked at Eddie Haas, the manager of Atlanta, and the first pitch to Perry, a called strike. Perry is 0 for 3 since coming in the game. Ground ball that is picked up by Tom Gorman. Good play there, and they pick up the out. Not a very good throw to first base. So now Terry Harper, the batter, the man that tied the game with a two-out home run in the 13th at 10. Harper also has popped up against Gorman, so he is 1 for 2. Harper's home run hit the foul pole. And a swing and a miss. Came on an 0-2 pitch. His 8th home run of the year. And it came with 2 men out. And this one popped up in foul territory. Harder back, but not much room here in this ballpark, so it goes out of play.
Well, I don't know if that's if he's blowing charge or taps.
Could be blowing taps. Maybe reveille.
Reveille, that's right. It's getting close to that time.
Two strikes to count to Terry Harper. The Mets once played a long extra inning game out in Los Angeles, and it was over back in New York at something like 5:30 in the morning, the latest any game ever finished in the hometown of a ball club. Mel Stoudemire acting as manager for the New York Mets. Davey Johnson ejected when Strawberry was thrown out, protesting a called strike. 2 strikes to count, and this was the count that Harper had the home run. And that one not in the strike zone. The count 1-2. Pitch. Rounded out to Keith Hernandez at first base, and he takes it himself. So now the Mets are not away from ending this long ball game, and the batter coming up is Ken Oberkfell. And it won't be Oberkfell. It'll be Rick Camp, the pitcher. And that's the way it stands for Atlanta. They are out of substitutions. Put in the sixth batting position when Runge was a pinch hitter for the pitcher. And the fastball fouled back. Camp has been up 5 times this year without a base hit.
Rick Camp's lifetime average, .062. He has no career home runs, only 10 career base hits.
And strike 2, and again, Tom Gorman is a strike away from ending the ball game. Back in the 13th, he served up a 2-run home run that tied the game. And this ball hit out to deep left field. It could be extra bases, could be gone. It is gone, goodbye. And the ball game is tied. This is unbelievable.
Fans thought they were going to see some fireworks tonight, and they have just seen Rick Camp's first Major League home run retie the ball game. Right there. Hit the back fence. Danny Heap can't believe it, nor can anybody else, but the Atlanta fans are flying high.
Count to Benedict, 2 balls and no strikes, and that makes it 3-0. 2 disastrous, 2 strikes, 2 out home runs off Tom Gorman. Both of them coming to tie up a ball game. In extra innings and a strike call, it's 3-1. Ball foul. Count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Every time that you had a feeling that it just couldn't go on any longer, it has.
And it's ball 4, and the winning run is on. Well, the Mets relief pitching in this ball game outside of Terry Leach has been horrendous. Tenth walk given up by Met pitchers, and it brings up ground ball hit down the 90. Goes to second for the force play, and we go to the 19th. Again, the top of the 19th. Twice this game has been tied in the bottom half of an inning in extra innings. And coming back in for the play-by-play, another fellow who can't believe it, Tim McCarver.
Well, I'll tell you, on the scoreboard was the message. As we see Tom Gorman, the message was, more than any other thing, baseball has the illusion that it can be simply understood. And I've never seen a ball game that best illustrates that strange axiom created by Thomas Boswell, the brilliant writer from the Washington Post, then this game, Gary Carter, the batter, 19th inning. No game has ever ended later than this game has ended. Back in 1975, the Phillies beat the Expos 6-1 in rain-delayed contest that ended at 3:23. Carter, base hit up the middle. So Gary Carter comes through. Again, that for Carter is his 5th hit of the game. He is now 5 for 9 on the game. Gary Carter with a base hit. So he's on first base. How in the world can a guy catch 18 innings and lead off the 19th with a base hit? I mean, that, at least the Braves have had 2 catchers tonight. Man, John Kristensen in there. He entered when Strawberry was ejected a couple innings ago, and a bunt and a beauty. Benedict to first, Carter to second, sacrifice successful. Now the batter is Tom Gorman, and he is being
Oh, can he be? They don't have a pitcher.
pushed back. The only pitcher I can think of would be Ron Darling, who is starting Sunday's ball game.
And he is just running down to the bullpen now. He has not been throwing. And we're going to see Rusty Staub as a pinch hitter. And there won't be a whole lot of time for Darling to get warm.
Well, there won't be a whole lot to do with Rusty Staub either, for Rusty Staub will probably be intentionally passed. Can you imagine the Mets playing 18 innings without using Rusty Staub?
I can't imagine anything about this game.
Your imagination is dead at this particular time. Darling is a starting pitcher on Sunday. Rusty Staub employed as the pinch hitter against Rick Camp. He is 1 hit shy, for all of you trivia buffs out there, of Billy Williams, 2,711 hits. That would time for 36th place. Now jot that down.
Don't forget it.
But Rusty's not going to have a chance, I wouldn't imagine. They'll probably walk Staub and pitch to Ray Knight, and they will. So Staub will be intentionally passed. I'll tell you, Ralph, I don't have the adjectives descriptive enough to describe this game.
If they made a movie out of this game, nobody would believe it.
Nobody'd go to it either.
That's right.
They'd all be at the ballpark. I think this is one of the few games that I have seen where the crowd has grown as the extra innings have persisted. I think there are more people now than there were here at the 13th. I've counted them.
They're coming in.
Yeah. They think it's tomorrow night's game or tonight's game. Ray Knight is the batter this morning.
And when Ray first batted, his name was Ray Day, and now it's Ray Knight.
Ball hit well to right center. Washington over. Can't get to it. Carter's going to score. Staub is into third base. Mets lead it 12-11. The 26th hit of the game for the Mets.
Well, Rusty Staub unable to score on that long drive because they had no one to pinch run. Ray Knight is more or less off the hook now. He had left 10 men on base. 3 times he batted with the bases loaded and did not get a runner in. But right here he drives in what is a go-ahead run at this point in the ball game. So Ray Knight picking up 3 hits in his last 4 at-bats and putting the Mets on top once again They lead by a score of 12-11.
And Howard Johnson will be walked intentionally. So Johnson walked intentionally. Got to analyze this game through segments. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the batter's going to be Danny Heap.
Ninth and second, Staub at third.
26 hits, the most ever by a Mets ball club.
Now Danny Heap.
Only one out. I say no outs. That's excusable, isn't it? Anything is excusable now. Infield and double play depth. Fastball is up and away to Heap. Danny 1 for 5, and he entered the game in the 9th inning.
3 on and 1 out. Raise a double play net.
We have been on the air for 8 hours.
And the 1-1.
Fastball and a beauty. 1 and 2 to Danny Heap. Bases loaded. 1 out. 12-11 Mets. You are not watching a rerun. I repeat.
This
you
is
are
live.
Not. This is live. 2 and 2. Of course, being 1/3 of a day. So we put our 8 hours in today, right? It's your normal 8 to 5 job. Line base hit. Staub scores. Knight's gonna try to score. The throw. Save. Now here comes Johnson. Save. Mets lead by 4. 15-11. You gotta love it. 2 RBIs for Danny Heap. He stands at second, and he just cleared the bases. And who's the first one up out of the dugout to greet him? Gary Carter.
There it is again in the replay. Line shot in the right field. Staub scores easily. The throw by Claudel gets away from the catcher, Benedict, as Knight tries to come in, and he kicks the ball away as he gets by the catcher, Benedict. And that will allow the next runner to score. And
that was Howard Johnson,
Howard
right?
Johnson, and at second base is Danny Heap.
2 RBIs. Interestingly, there have only been 4 errors in this ball game. Only 1 by the Mets. And Dykstra rips it to left center. Heap tagging, and he'll go to third easily. The Mets have scored 4 runs in the top of the 19th. As if to say, now Braves, let's see you match that.
Top of the 19th.
They scored 2 in the top of the 13th on a 2-run homer by Howard Johnson. Dramatically, Terry Harper came back in the bottom of the 13th and hit a 2-run homer with 2 out and Ramirez aboard. In the 18th, the Mets scored a run, and incredibly, with 2 out and nobody on, Rick Camp hit his first Major League home run. The pitcher, no doubt. This game will go to Cooperstown, my friend.
Twice in this game, Atlanta has scored runs to tie the game up with 2 strikes on the batter and 2 men out.
Interestingly, 0-2 each time. Now the Mets score their 5th run here in the top of the 19th. Wally Backman comes through with his 4th base hit of the game.
16-11.
Wally is 4 for 11 in this game.
And Darling, who will be the next pitch in the ball game with a chance to pick up his first save, cannot pick up his first save because the Mets have more than a 3-run lead.
That's right. And Ron Darling coming in from the bullpen now, and Keith Hernandez. A check swing by design. Hernandez has hit for the cycle in this ball game. He has had 5 hits, make that 4 hits. Our cab waiting in front of the
It's now $946.52.
ground ball to second base. Hernandez is out of there. The Mets score 5 runs and a number of hits here in the top of the 19th. And they lead 16-11 after 18 and a half.
While other... You're watching 10 amazing games on MSG Network.
Well, the new pitcher for the New York Mets, and he is new. He's not only new in this game, he's new in this spot. Ron Darling.
Ron Darling has appeared in a total of 38 games before this season, and he has not had an appearance as a relief pitcher since coming into the major leagues.
First relief appearance ever for Ron Darling. He started 17 times this year, so it took him 55 games to get into a relief appearance. And Ron and the Mets hoping this will be a short inning, because Ron is a starting pitcher on Sunday. Okay, now who will he be facing? Paul Zuvella, Claudel Washington, and Rafael Ramirez. 16-11, and we repeat, half in jest, all in earnest, that this game is not a replay or a rerun. Paul Zuvella, the batter. Toward third. And a fair ball, says Terry Tata. Or did he say fair ball? He's waving him back. He said foul ball. 0-1.
This game is the longest game in time in both the American League and the National League now for this year.
The time, as you know, 3:42 New York time and Atlanta time, Eastern time. Ground ball toward Backman, and he throws out Hernandez. Now catch this, Zuvella entered the game in the 6th, and he is now 0 for 7. 1 out, bottom of the 19th. And the batter, Claudel Washington. Oh, 1-0. Ground ball, Hernandez can't come up with it. This is going to be at least 2 and maybe 3. But Washington holds at second. Well, our crack statistician and PR man, ever alert and ever present Jay Horwitz, coming up with the appropriate information.
Now the relay repeat of this as the ball bounces off Hernandez and bounces into foul territory. And Washington ends up at second base. It is being scored as an error.
A rare error at that. It hit Hernandez above the glove, right in the elbow. He's all right. And the batter, Rafael Ramirez. Washington at second. And 1 man out. The Mets looking for 2 outs. They lead by 5.
28 hits, the rate was 17.
Right.
45 into the game, 27 runs.
True value.
Causing a couple of rain delays. And
Fastball is tight. 1-1 to Rafael Ramirez. Ramirez has driven in a couple of runs. He's scored 2 runs. And he's had 3 base hits on the evening. Jams in with a fastball. Johnson. Nice play, Howard Johnson. 2 outs. As King Richard would say, my kingdom for an out.
Well, twice now in this game in extra innings, Atlanta has tied it up with 2 men out. But they have a little farther to go here, as the Mets have a 5-run lead this time. They had a 2-run lead one time and a 1-run lead the other.
Got a steeper hill to climb, right? Dale Murphy, the batter. Murphy's had only 1 hit, but he's been responsible for this whole mess.
Murphy put Atlanta in front by a score of 9-8 with a 3-run double back in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Fastball and a good one. 0-1 to Murphy.
Mets tied it up in the 9th, then took the lead by 2 in the 13th. Atlanta tied it up in the bottom half of the 13th, and then the Mets got 5 runs in the top of the 19th.
To Dale Murphy. Well, as Steve Zabriskie said earlier, Rusty Staub tried to get grits last night at the hotel, and the gentleman said that they would be in at 3:30. Well, they'd been at the hotel for 16 minutes as we talk. So luckily, Ralph will be able to have breakfast and a big bowl of grits for you when we get back.
Just what I'm looking forward to.
2-1 to Murphy.
Nothing like a bowl of grits after a 19-inning game.
Oh, me. 2-1 to Dale Murphy. The Mets 5 runs up in the 19th, 2-2 to Murphy. The Mets 1 strike away from victory, but they've done that in the 13th and in the 18th. They have been 1 strike away from victory. You love a cassette of this game.
14 pitchers used in this game.
Ground ball, foul.
Perry would be next.
Think of the hitters now, coming up 9, 10 times, 11 times during a game, and now you're facing a starting pitcher in the 19th.
I'm a little surprised that Atlanta didn't go to Bedrosian, who has great relief experience, and he's not due to pitch until Sunday.
Just like Darling.
Just like Darling.
Well, of course, camp was relatively fresh, I suppose. He'd pitched only 3 innings. We won't go over who pitched the rest of it. Read it in the paper. 3-2 to Dale Murphy. Recap this game. You couldn't recap this game. They gave you a day and a half, could you? I know I couldn't.
No. Well, let's see. Yesterday, Dwight Gooden started the ball game. Worked 2 1/3 innings. Left because of a rain delay.
Murphy fouls it away. 3-2 still.
Be like those old cereals that we used to go to years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Double feature on Saturday and a cereal. That was endless.
Chapter 12.
Lash LaRue, Jungle Jim, Flash Gordon.
The stagecoach going over the cliff.
Yep.
Be here next Saturday to see what happened.
Right.
This one all condensed into 2 days. Yesterday and today. To 4. Who are you going to get in the post-game show?
That's Steve Zabriskie's worry. And Ron Darling walks Dale Murphy. So the batter will be Gerald Perry. The interesting thing about this inning is if Perry gets on and Harper gets on, Rick Camp will have another chance for stardom. He is the in-the-hole hitter. He could end up hitting a grand salami to tie it up. Fastball is outside to Gerald Perry. I I was only kidding, of course. 1-0 to Perry. Mets lead by 5, 16 to 11. 1-1. There have been 45 hits in this ball game. And that equals the number of hits in the 23-22 victory the Phillies had over the Cubs in 1979. Two and two to Perry.
Statisticians will have a field day with this one.
Boy, you got that right. Perry, refusing to dive, fouls it back. And Ron Darling wants a new baseball. That might be the most interesting thing in this game.
Well, if you're going to set a record, set one.
Be interesting to see Carter go out now and change the signs with a runner on second. Fly ball left field, and of course a foul ball and out of play. Appropriately, Hernandez at first.
That tells
Probably
it all.
thinks he's on the on-deck circle. He doesn't know where he is now.
The wheels have gone.
Just missed. 3 and 2, and the runners will be off. Fastball is low, and Gerald Perry is on. The second walk issued by Darling. And the bases are loaded, 2 out. And the tying run coming up to the on-deck circle in the person of Rick Camp, the devastating home run hitter, who hit his first Major League home run to tie it in the bottom of the 18th. Terry Harper, the batter. Fastball is high, 1-0 to Harper. To Terry Harper.
I don't believe what I'm seeing.
No, I don't either, nor have I for the last 8 hours. The dangerous Camp on deck. There's a strike, 2-1 to Terry Harper. You have to be tongue-in-cheek right now. I mean, you can't be serious about this game, right?
Well, this is a happening now. This will go in the record books.
Line drive right field. It may drop and does. 2-run score. Kristensen. Ball gets by him, and now it's first and third, and the tying run at the plate in the person of Rick Camp. It's now 16 to 13. Hernandez comically handing the ball to Darling.
Well, here it is again. It drops in front of Kristensen. He can't pick it up, but no harm done. Harper holds at first base, and the runner on third base also holds. So 2 runs are in, and as Tim pointed out, on the base hit by Harper, it puts the tying run at the plate in the form of Camp.
You know, I would imagine that this is the first time a pitcher has batted in extra innings 2 times.
necessarily so, because you go back to pitchers like Wes Farrell and Red Ruffing, who were outstanding hitters.
But they were starting pitchers.
But they were starting pitchers. They could have done it, say, in the 10th and 12th inning or something like that.
Okay.
Because they did pitch longer games in those days. And
just a thought. I mean, you know,
a good guess.
It doesn't necessarily have to be right at this hour. 0-2 to Camp. Gosh, how many things go through your mind in a game like this? I know with me, it's a melange. 1-2 to Rick Camp.
Those 2 runs that scored will be unearned because of the error.
Swing and a miss. Rick Camp strikes out. And this ball game is over. And you will see on your screen the tired jubilation of the fans who've enjoyed it. They're happy they were here. And in a couple of days after we rest, Mr. Kiner, I'll be happy we were here. The final score, 16 to 13. The line score, 16, 28, and 2 for the Mets. 13, 18, and 3 for the Braves.
Homeowners, call Garden State